Hey guys, this is Average and welcome back to the channel, and today we're taking a look at Sim Federation's Cessna Corvalis TTx. Now, this is their kind of sophomore aircraft. They've released two so far, including the Phenom 300. Now, this is €18 on Sim Market. If you wanted a Cirrus but didn't want a Cirrus, you could buy the Cessna Corvalis, the Cessna 400. Now, this aircraft in particular, marketed as the TTx, single-engine fixed-gear low-wing GA-type composite materials, originally built by Columbia Aircraft as the Columbia 400, then later bought by Cessna. Now, it's very similar to the Lancer-type kits that, of course, inspired the Columbia 300. It's very similar to a Cirrus, let's be honest, at the elephant in the room, and it really is just an alternate Cirrus when it comes to flight sim. That is what you're getting. Now, this one is powered by a Continental TSIO 550C, which is 310 horsepower. I believe about production has been completed. It doesn't exactly specify how many were produced, so that's not going to be great for a big number. Cruise speed is 235 knots, which is or maximum speed. Sorry, cruise is again the same. We have stall speed of 59 knots, a range of 1,100 nautical miles, service ceiling of 25,000 feet. So, potent aircraft. The only details we get from these guys, other than the 3 liveries that come with it, is that it's VR ready, has 4 and 8K textures, and a high detailed interior and exterior. Well, let's be the judge of that, shall we? We'll go outside initially, and we will take a bit of a look around here at Orcas Island. Exterior texturing is okay. It's composite, so it does, of course, reduce the amount of detail you'll see. But I always like very Lancer-y kind of front end. You can see the Columbia inspiration there. I always like to look at gear as a good indicator, but these are wheel panted, so it's almost impossible to see. Reasonable level of detail. It certainly doesn't look bad, but it also doesn't look good either. It's kind of neutral, sitting on a kind of, yeah, looks good enough for MSFS. But that's about it. Wing lights there. Reasonable detail on the grille. Well, the grille, I should say. The engine intakes there and the radiator. It's reasonable. Obviously, it's a fixed gear airplane, so that is a factor there. Of course, we've got the sleeved exhaust pipes. Let's take a look inside. Now, there is no manual that comes with this aircraft. We're all running on guesswork, really, when I review this. We have a backup participants there. Controls down here for the MFD and PFD systems. As far as I can tell, the doors will not and cannot open. I have tried clicking everywhere for them. There is no apparent click spot, which is disappointing in that it's really stock Cirrus-y at this point. Most of the kind of little bits and pieces you might consider as my cursors jump around because flight sim, being flight sim, you can't click on vents, you can click on the map lights and search there, the floodlights, but there's really not a lot else. All of our breakers down there don't do anything. So for an €18 aircraft, this is already really falling short. There's lots of things that are not clickable, that don't make sense. We've got various brightnesses here. Right here we have our fuel selector, so we're on right or left picked at the moment, so that's, there we go, left to left. Now down here we can select, of course, weather onto that alternate screen there. We can select our traffic. We can select map. 2 of those. But we're just going to leave it on. We've got aircraft systems there. We can go to menu pages down here. You know what? I should put my glasses on. That's always helpful. No, it just says general in a kind of not quite readable font. It's not very bright. And it's kind of fuzzy, I find, this central control panel here. And nothing seems to really do much. Okay, we've got those for the instruments up there, but we can look at our electrical power systems. It doesn't seem to do anything when we click on these, though, which does seem odd. Let's go back. Let's go into our main settings. Yeah, these don't have sub-menus, unfortunately, general menus. We've got a fuel menu. Okay, we've got a weights menu here, of course, it's working somewhat. Maintenance isn't clickable. Volume or brightness, sorry, is. Okay, so not even scaled properly, kind of missing bits and pieces in terms of how it sits on the screen. Unideal, if I'm quite blunt. And we're seeing the systems page there, so we'll put that back on weather. So we do at least have the sticks moving there. The interior texturing isn't great. This is kind of just fuzzy and lacking in detail. For supposedly 4 and 8K textures, you can see that's what 4K textures should look like. Or 8K. And then you've got this 1024 kind of messy texture, which really doesn't do it justice. And you can definitely see a lot of polygoning in the lines here that belie the shapes that we're seeing. So we'll take this for a quick run around. I'm honestly not actually that impressed with this aircraft. But we'll give her a kick, because we always do. And we'll take a look and see how this plane will fly. So, mags on, clear prop. That's interesting. Nothing happening there. Why does it not wish to start? There's no manual, by the way, so it's not as though I could actually... Oh, those are... inoperative. Pilot heat, nav lights, landing lights, taxi lights, strobe lights. The funny thing here is that's not even clickable. The firewall shutoff is not clickable. Flaps are. Odd. Not even trying to start and then not starting up. Okay, we'll switch to that way around. Nothing. Even clicking the button doesn't seem to do anything, and it's... Huh. Oh no, it's going. Okay. It started. We just didn't know about it. That's news for me, I'll admit. I'll be brutally honest, I wasn't quite expecting it to do that. Although it does seem like there is sound for you guys, I just can't hear it myself for some odd reason. Which is really quite strange. Beyond strange, if I'm brutally honest. You know why that is? My headphones aren't even turned on. I'm an idiot. Ignore me. Dear God, I'm a complete moron. This is what happens when Angel tries to record videos at this time of day. Right. Parking brake is retracted. Stupid moment out of the way for a second there. I couldn't hear any sound. Okay, so taxiing the aircraft is easy enough. It's responsive on differential braking. Rudder is good. Let's make it a bit daytimey. There we go. Okay, quite fast on the taxi, in fact. This is me zero throttle, by the way. So it's got that power creep some aircraft in the sim have with kind of wobbly flight models. This is, again, my throttle's completely at zero. I have to stand on the brakes to actually stop it. Or pull out my prop. Prop forward. And now it stays still. Weird. And now I zero a little throttle. Got it moving, and now it will stop moving. It's definitely behaving oddly, that's for sure. And that jagged line on the door there, right in front of my eyes, is bugging me. Right here. These sounds also don't sound very good. We'll go one notch of flaps here. The resolution on these screens is not ideal or very good. It's very... Wow, we're 100 knots already. Dear God. This thing is fast. Oh my gosh. I don't think I should be passing 100 knots on takeoff this quickly. That was fighter jet levels of performance there. Let's just test a theory, shall we? Yeah, this is legit. Super legit. Still 120 knots going this like this. Passing through 3,000 feet. Yeah. That's legit. That is quite the climb rate on it. It doesn't feel like it has any weight to it. We'll get out this cloud here in a minute. We're just popping out the side here. Not the most responsive, or very responsive aircraft. Pull the power back here. Whoa, we're overspeeding in a Cessna. Okay, pull the power all the way out. And we're up here. Yeah, it's got power. We hit our overspeed limit there. Obviously we should be at like 235 at altitude, but that's quite extreme. So I'm pulling back to full idle here. I'm gonna see how she's slowing down like a wow. Okay, we're dropping below 100 knots any moment here. It really slows down very fast, which is surprising for an aircraft that's quite slippery looking. I mean, vans in real life take quite a way to slow down. They're not the slipperiest aircraft in the world. This I'd expect to be way slipperier than a van's, but is slowing down like I hit a brick wall. And we are descending while slowing down at 1,000 feet per minute, by the way. So we are going down quite quickly. Apparently at 2,000 feet a minute. That feels wrong. Yeah, apparently we're doing 2,000 feet a minute descent. That was not 2,000 feet a minute. But we are descending very rapidly. And now we're speeding up. Okay. It feels weird. This whole thing feels quite strange. This feels like flying a toy, if I'm honest. If this was $10 or 10 euros, yeah, okay, that's worth a crack. If you insist on flying it, yeah, sure. There's no manual. Really can't do much with the aircraft. There's no candy. The doors won't open. It's just a Cirrus by any other name. And honestly, the default Cirrus looks better internally. It really does. You can't even use the BRS on this thing. It's just meh. Is the best way to describe it. Just meh. Sorry, adjusting my head there. Can I get this thing low and slow enough to land this time around? Because not honestly a huge fan of spending a long time in this thing, but I mean, it's not bad. It is dramatically overpriced for what you're getting. The flight model needs work, and there's definitely some parts of the texturing that could be improved. The actual cabin walls, the seam right in front of your eyes there. The seats are okay. There's absolutely zero wear or tear on the aircraft, so not a lot to write home about there. So it's not awful, but it's not great either, but it's definitely overpriced for what you're getting. The sounds are not good. I'm pretty sure they're default sounds. Okay, well, it's slowed down enough to let me actually need flaps. Two notches flaps there, little power on here. Although I don't think I really need any because it's just cruising along like it's happy with its life. Little low on the approach, admittedly, that's fine. Feels like I'm coming in so quickly though. There we go, touchdown. Yeah, very low approach, so I didn't help in that instance, but it's enough to get us down on the ground, and its ground handling's okay. Its flight handling feels rockety. It feels like it has too much drag, but then too much thrust. It's an odd aircraft. Never flown one of these in real life, but I would expect it to be a bit of a rocket ship like the real ones are. 300 horsepower engine should be incredibly potent, so maybe it is that fast. Maybe that is accurate, but it's almost like it slammed into a brick wall. Like I said, the Van's kit planes, the RV-14s, even they don't slow down that quickly as this one does. But this one dropped speed like it was off to go and find a brand new McDonald's that opened up. The biggest gripes are the lack of candy, the lack of things like doors, the texturing are not good enough, the sounds are not great at all. The prop blur is also not good. Like, that's just a flat disc. That's why I couldn't see it spinning, because it's just a slightly darker disc. There's no discernible difference here between... And that was throttle idle, by the way. That's, you know, a slight variation when I throttle up there. Just. Whoa, and that thing's speeding up hard. I've already throttled back a while ago, by the way. Can you slow down? Thank you. Thank you, airplane. Dear God. That is dramatic. Yeah, the power definitely feels off on this aircraft somehow. I mean, 300 horsepower would get you shifting pretty quickly, admittedly, but, you know, it does feel implausible, considering I've flown some things in the sim with similar power levels, and they aren't quite that giddy up and go. There we go. We'll taxi to a parking spot and put the parking brake on. Almost sounds a tiny bit turboproppy, actually. Let's throttle up. It does sound a little bit turboproppy, doesn't it? There's almost that hiss of a jet engine in the background. At least I have my cat. As weirdly as he sat in that seat. I'm not sure what that pink is there on the door hinges. It looks like they're missing. Grab my trusty controller here. No, that looks like the texture's missing. That straight up was model material. So that's missing texture there. So the Simulation Corvalis is alright. Overpriced. Not getting a lot. If you insist on having one, it'll do. The flight model doesn't feel right. Would not recommend. Thanks for watching. Bye.